Welcome to this YouTube channel. In this video we are going to talk about top 10 NBA coaches. So before starting this video, like this video, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for future updates. This season, we've already ranked the NBA's greatest players, best international duos and best overall duos. The top head coaches in the NBA are up next. Head coaching can determine whether a team makes the playoffs or not, as well as whether they win or lose a series. Some head coaches have taken their teams to new heights, advancing further into the playoffs than expected, while others have fallen short of their expectations. 7 members of the NBA.com staff, Kyle Irving, Gilbert McGregor, Scott Rafferty, Juan Estevez, Alex Novick, Leandro Fernandez, and Carlandro Gay, selected the top 10 head coaches in the league, taking into account what happened this season and previous seasons. Number 10. John Kundler. For 11 seasons, Kundler was the head coach of the Minneapolis Lakers. He has a 423-302 overall record. Most importantly, he was the head coach of the NBA's first dynasty, leading the Lakers to 5 titles in 6 years. When he took over the Lakers at the age of 31, he was one of the youngest coaches in NBA history. He coached 6 Hall of Famers and was inducted into the Coaches Hall of Fame. Prior to the 1957-58 season, Kundler was briefly assigned to the Lakers front office. The Lakers were 9-30 when Mikan stepped down as coach, and Kundler returned to the bench immediately, finishing 10-23, as the team finished 19-53, one of the worst seasons in franchise history, and missing the NBA playoffs for the only time in Kundler's tenure. With an improved squad, Kundler subsequently led the Lakers to a 33-39 record in his final season. Despite their losing record, Kundler and rookie Elgin Baylor led the 1958-1959 Lakers to NBA playoff series triumphs over the Detroit Pistons, 2-1, and St. Louis Hawks, 4-1, to reach the 1959 NBA Finals. With Bill Russell and Bob Cousy, the Lakers were defeated in 4 games by Red Auerbach's Boston Celtics in the NBA Finals. Number 9. Red Holtzman. During the 1970s, Holtzman coached some outstanding Knicks teams. In 16 seasons as a coach, he had a 696-604 record. In 1970 and 1973, he guided the Knicks to 2 titles. In 1969, he also led the Knicks to an NBA record 18-game winning streak. Finally, in 1970, he was named Coach of the Year, and in 1985, he was inducted into the Hall of Fame. Number 8. Rudy Tomjanovich. Tomjanovich was regarded as one of the greatest modern coaches of all time. He coached the Rockets for 13 years and the Lakers for 1 season, compiling a 527-416 record with a winning percentage of .559. In the 1993-94 and 1994-95 seasons, he led the Rockets to back-to-back championships. He was also the head coach of the gold medal-winning U.S. men's basketball team in 2000. Number 7. Chuck Daly. In the late 1980s, Daly guided the Pistons to back-to-back championships. He had a 638-437 record and a .593 winning percentage in 14 years as a coach. He was also the coach of the first Dream Squad, the 1992 United States men's basketball team. In 1994, he was finally admitted into the Hall of Fame. Daly became an assistant coach for the NBA's Philadelphia 76ers in 1978. The Cleveland Cavaliers hired him as their 3rd head coach during the 1981 season, but he was sacked before the season concluded with a 9-32 record. He then worked as a commentator for the 76ers until 1983, when he was hired by the Detroit Pistons. The Pistons, who had never had back-to-back winning seasons prior to Daly's arrival, made the NBA playoffs every year from 1983 through 1992, as well as reaching the NBA Finals 3 times and won 2 consecutive NBA titles in 1989 and 1990. Daly was a color analyst for TBS NBA playoff coverage while coaching the Pistons. Number 6. Lenny Wilkens. Wilkens holds the record for most wins by an NBA head coach. He coached the Sonics, Blazers, Cavaliers, Hawks, Raptors, and Knicks during his 32-year career as a head coach. He has a winning percentage of .536 and a record of 1332-1155. In the late 1970s, he also guided the Sonics to the finals twice, winning the title in 1978-79. Finally, he was named Coach of the Year in 1993-94 after leading the Cavs to 57 victories. Wilkins spent 4 seasons with the Seattle Supersonics after being traded for Walt Hazzard. In his debut season with the Supersonics, he averaged 22.4 points, 6.2 rebounds, and 8.2 assists per game, and he was an All-Star in 3 of those seasons. In his second season with the team, he was promoted to head coach. Despite the fact that the Supersonics did not make the playoffs while Wilkins was coaching and playing point guard at the same time, their record improved each season, and they won 47 games in the 1971-72 NBA season. Wilkins was dealt to the Cleveland Cavaliers in a controversial trade before the start of the next season, and the Supersonics went 26-56 without him on the court. Number 5. Larry Brown. Brown is the best coach in history at making the most of bad squads. He has a 1240-910 record and a .577 winning percent in his 25-year stint as an NBA head coach. He is the only coach in history to win a championship with both a collegiate and an NBA team. He won championships with the Kansas Jayhawks in 1988 and the Detroit Pistons in 2004. He's also the only coach in league history to have taken 7 separate teams to the playoffs. Finally, with the 76ers, he won Coach of the Year in 2001 and was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2002. Number 4. Pat Riley. Riley was the head coach of the 1980s Showtime Lakers. He has 5 championships in his 24-year coaching career with the Lakers, Knicks, and Heat, 4 with the Lakers and 1 with the Heat. He's also racked up a 1210-694 record, with a .636 winning percentage. In 1990, 1993, and 1997, he was named NBA Coach of the Year 3 times. With the exception of his final season with the Heat, he guided his club to the playoffs every season of his career. With 171 playoff victories, he is second in the league. Number 3. Greg Popovich. Over the last 10 seasons, Popovich has been one of the greatest, if not the best, coaches in the league. He has guided the San Antonio Spurs to 4 championships, and 633 victories with only 305 losses in his 13-year career. In 2002-03, he was named NBA Coach of the Year, and he has had 11 seasons with a winning percentage of .646 or higher. In the future, he will be admitted into the Hall of Fame. Number 2. Red Auerbach. Auerbach was known as the NBA's godfather. He spent nearly 30 years as a coach and executive with the Boston Celtics. He guided the Celtics to 9 championships during his coaching career, including an incredible 8 straight triumphs from 1959 to 1966. He had an 823-426 record and a .659 winning percentage. He also has a 91-60 career postseason record with a .603 winning percentage. In 1965, he was again named NBA Coach of the Year. In 1969, he was finally admitted into the Hall of Fame. Number 1. Phil Jackson. Jackson is the all-time greatest coach. As a coach, he has won 9 championships. Sure, he has Jordan, Pippen, Shaq, and Kobe as 4 of the greatest players in NBA history, but no one can question what he has accomplished. In his 18-year career, he had an incredible 980-418 record. He also has the highest ever winning percent of .703 in his career. With 193 playoff victories, he holds the record for the most. In the 1995-96 season, he was named NBA Coach of the Year. He has the opportunity to win additional titles, as the coach of the Los Angeles Lakers, one of the top teams in the league. In 2007, he was finally admitted into the Hall of Fame. What do you think about this video? If you enjoyed this video, like this video and want to hear from us again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go.